Have you ever been simultaneously bored, angry, sad, and confused, yet at the same time increasingly apathetic? That's the Acolyte! It's time for a Marvin the Movie Monster review! Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. Tuesday night, after perhaps our best episode ever of Tony Talk Wrestling, I was feeling pretty great. I bid farewell to my panel, I walked to my living room, I fired up my UHD projector, booted up my PlayStation 5, opened Disney Plus, and watched Star Wars die. Just to preface this and all future reviews on this channel, these are just my subjective opinions. If they differ from yours, that's fine. I respect your opinion, and I hope you can respect mine. If you like something I hate or hate something I like, then I welcome respectful debate. Or just call me a f***ing istophobe. Just when you think that Disney Star Wars can't get any worse, when you think it's finally sunk to the deepest, darkest depths it can achieve, still somehow, someway, Kathleen Kennedy and her horde of cultural terrorists find a way to reach new, never-before-seen levels of awful. Yes, I sat through the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte, the brainchild of Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslye Headland, the supposed Star Wars superfan who tearfully told us at Star Wars Celebration, "Guys, Star Wars saved my life," and then proceeded to proclaim in subsequent months that her favorite Star Wars is all the Star Wars, how she loves the Siths, and how she pitched Kathleen Kennedy a brand new idea about a protagonist who comes to view the Jedi as evil.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil!
And thus she created The Acolyte. Emboldened by everything she learned about writing and filmmaking while booking appointments for her boss with all the women he was going to assault, Leslye turned her blind eye toward writing a script that was going to reshape a galaxy far, far away. It was going to be a new Star Wars, a better Star Wars, a queer, diverse, female-led Star Wars. And look, I'm all for those things, as long as it's a well-written, well-acted show that respects the established canon and law put in place so many years ago by George Lucas. But this does none of those things. Leslye has said repeatedly that her idea for this show was Frozen meets Kill Bill. I assume Frozen because there are 2 sisters in it, and Kill Bill because revenge, I guess. If that's all it takes, you can just as easily have called this show Guardians of the Galaxy meets The Crow, or Fuller House meets Gladiator, or Sister Sister meets The Princess Bride. Actually, I'd watch the hell out of all of those. Somebody go make that! Our story begins in the High Republic, an up to recently untouched part of the Star Wars timeline showcased in books, comics, and other media to a rousing meh from the audience. The High Republic was Kathleen Kennedy's brilliant idea to dive into a new and quote-unquote exciting period in the Star Wars timeline, where she could inject some much-needed diversity into this misogyny machine and start to court a new audience, a younger, more desirable audience that apparently doesn't exist. And that was about as much thought as old KK and her cronies put into it, because no one likes, respects, or even acknowledges the High Republic outside of content creators like yours truly, who love to point out how laughably bad it is. The books sold horrifically, and the entire time period mostly elicits eye rolls and groans from the very few Star Wars fans who have actually heard of the concept. Now, this particular story takes place 100 years before The Phantom Menace. Now, at some point in that century, the Jedi apparently made some kind of decree to become super racist and get rid of all the minorities among their ranks other than Mace Windu. But finally, guys, we finally have strong female Jedi, something that Star Wars has been missing for... never. For never. We start off with May, a pleasingly diverse female Force-using assassin who is one half of a pair of twins who were born powerful in the Force. Nope, they don't count anymore. Now, each twin thinks that the other is dead, so it's kind of like the Parent Trap with a body count. This is sort of the inverse of the Olsen twins, who are identical twins playing one character. May and her sister Osha are one actress playing 2 characters, but for the sake of my own enjoyment, we're going to forego the names of their characters and just refer to them as the Olsen twins. May, the dark side twin, is, which one was the stick figure that was involved in Heath Ledger's death? Mary Kate! Yes! Well, it's better than Mary Sue. Hey-o! We find Mary Kate in a tavern where she confronts Jedi Master Trinity from The Matrix, but instead of just attacking, Mary Kate drops into a cringy kung fu stance and tells her to
attack me with all your strength.
And I burst out laughing at the most unnatural force dialogue I've seen since the Rings of Power.
Do you know why a ship floats and a stone cannot?
Ugh, okay, it wasn't that bad. Master Trinity then engages Mary-Kate in a poorly paced and poorly choreographed boring kung fu fight, despite the fact that she has a lightsaber on her belt. Mary-Kate makes a weird comment about how when a Jedi draws their weapon, it's because they're prepared to kill. I guess Obi-Wan didn't get that memo. But he's a toxic Jedi now, so screw him. Anyway, after some more ridiculously slow-paced theatrics, Mary-Kate manages to kill Master Trin with a small throwing knife. Man, someone should have really let Darth Vader know that he could have finished Reva off if instead of impaling him with a lightsaber, he had just tossed a tiny little ninja knife at her. It's then that we meet Ashley Olsen, a former Jedi Padawan working as a repair person on a Trade Federation starship. Of course, it makes perfect sense that the ultra-capitalist, cost-cutting Neimoidians we met in the prequel trilogy, you know, the ones with a droid army, would rather pay human workers to perform these hull repairs than use astromech droids. Just one of many little Leslye logic leaps that we'll encounter through the course of this show. Like this fire burning in the vacuum of space and blowing in the wind that doesn't friggin' exist. Anyway, Ashley is visited by Jedi Superfan and his Padawan. I call him Jedi Superfan because he's the actor who tried to pass himself off as a big Star Wars fanatic, yet said there's no good and evil in Star Wars, a franchise that has a literal light and dark side, and professed in 2 different interviews that Anakin Skywalker destroyed the Death Star.
Fools! Idiots! Imbeciles!
Jedi Superfan and Padawan take Ashley into custody, believing that she was the one who killed Jedi Master Trinity. This all came from an eyewitness report, but this eyewitness didn't know Ashley by name, and there doesn't seem to be a recording of the fight. So, we're led to believe that the description he gave was 20-something black human female with braids. Now, imagine you're a cop working in a small city. That's usually a population of around 100,000 people. 100,000 people to sift through, and many of them resemble that exact description. Now, imagine that in a large city like Manhattan, with a population of 1.646 million people. Now, take a country like the United States with a population of 333.3 million, or the entire planet Earth with 8.113 billion people. Now apply it to an entire galaxy of untold trillions. But despite this, they zeroed in on Ashley right away. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking this is going to be some kind of fugitive story with Ashley on the run, engaged in a quest against the odds to clear her name while navigating battles between the Jedi and the Sith. Well, think again. That might have actually been interesting and taken away from all the stunning bravery on display here. Then we switch over to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, where the one kinda cool character in this show, Jedi Master Squid Games, who might I add is the best actor in this show and reportedly learned English for the role, is instructing a group of ethnically diverse younglings. He's then met by Jedi Master Leslye Headland's wife, who lets him know that Ashley, his former Padawan, has been arrested for the murder of Master Trinity. And then, on the prison ship, Ashley is in a cell surrounded by a couple of white dudes who are planning an escape. And then, one of them leaves her in a cell while the other one, who she stops and tries to help, immediately pulls the ultimate cis-hetero white man move and betrays her to save his own hide. And then, the ship is crashing from outer space onto the planet below with no escape pods. But is our heroine doomed? Is she in any danger whatsoever? Nope. She just sits in a chair, puts her arms over her head, and the ship smashes into the ground below. She then walks out without a scratch on her because gravity is inherently patriarchal and we don't have time for any of that nonsense. And then we catch back up with Jedi Master Squid Games, who's meeting with his Padawan Chitara from Thundercats. And like any good student in modern Star Wars, the first thing she does is scold and belittle her master.
Why do you keep old hollows of your former Padawan? This pastime encourages sentimentality and nostalgia.
At least we're being consistent. And then the Jedi have captured the toxic white males who tried to escape the prison ship, and then they blame everything on Ashley, because of course they do. Master Squid Games then tells Master Leslye Headland's wife that he'll go after her himself, accompanied by Chitara and Jedi Superfan. And then Ashley has a dream where she sees Mary-Kate as a child and relives some of their shared trauma. This tells her that her sister is alive, and now it's mission time. I know it probably seems like I'm generalizing and glossing over things, but I'm really not. It's just a very shallow story written by an idiot. Anyway, Squid Games, Chitara, and Superfan find Ashley, and she's like, I didn't do it, it was my sister Mary-Kate. And Master Squid Game is like, okay. And for some reason, Ashley nearly falls off a cliff and Squid catches her. And then we end with Mary-Kate returning to her Sith Master, who gives her a forgettable speech about the Jedi and how an Acolyte is what's needed to kill them. He then says this weird line.
Steel or laser are no threat to them.
I guess the clone troopers didn't get that memo, because during Order 66, lasers seemed to do pretty well against the Jedi. He then ignites his red lightsaber for no reason other than to let the audience know that he's a Sith. She's real subtle, that Leslye. And then the credits for the first episode hit, and then we see Leslye Headland's name 4 times with George Lucas and Kathleen Kennedy sprinkled in for good measure. Have you noticed how many times I've said, "and then" in this review? Because that's the style of storytelling Leslye is capable of. As my friend Dis pointed out recently on Toonie Talk TV, the story goes from one thought to the next with the spastic energy of a 6-year-old telling you a story and just saying "and then" over and over again. Now, if you're anything like me, you're saying to yourself, thank Dende and look out that this is finally over. But bend over, Abigail May, because we got a second part of this 2-part premiere right up your popo. And if you thought that first 37-minute episode was a boring slog of nonsense, well, then you ain't seen nothing yet. Our second episode opens on the planet Olega, where there's a Jedi temple. Apparently, they're franchised out now. Anyway, Mary-Kate infiltrates that temple because she's on the hunt for Jedi Master White Guilt, who has taken the Barash vow and removed himself from the Order. And the Barash vow was a concept introduced in the actually really well-done Darth Vader comic series. Under the vow, the Jedi is undertaking a form of penance, and he removes his or herself from any activities involving the Jedi Order. However, instead of going into exile, this one, I guess, decided to stay in a Jedi temple, because that makes sense. Mary-Kate drops into her Force-Foo stance again, but Master White Guilt's white guilt is so thick with guilt that she can't actually touch him. We then catch up with Ashley on the Jedi ship with Chitara, where, as my friend Martin from That Park Place pointed out, she quickly establishes intellectual dominance over this child before weirdly bragging about how flexible she is.
I'm better company than a droid, and, way more flexible.
Just a quick reminder that this show was written by the former assistant of Harvey Weinstein, Leslye Headland. The Jedi ship is going to go to Olega now because they heard about Mary-Kate trying to attack Master White Guilt. This officially ends any and all tension regarding Ashley's guilt or innocence. Phew, let's get all that plot out of the way so that we can continue to bask in how stunning and brave everything is. Mary-Kate then visits Asian Ezra Miller, who gives a poison to use on Jedi Master White Guilt. He also clearly knows something about her mysterious master and notes that he wants Mary-Kate to kill one of these Jedi with no weapon for some stupid-ass reason. Let's see, what's next? It all feels so random. Master Squid Games hates Ashley's tattoo. They talk about that guilt a bit, and Master Squid Games admits he's a terrible teacher because this is modern Star Wars, and he's a he.
You're my daughter.
Granddaughter, maybe.
Again, we're being consistent. Back in the franchise Jedi Temple, Mary-Kate talks to Master White Guilt, and instead of poisoning him, offers him the poison. Master White Guilt's white guilt is so guilty that he drinks the poison of his own free will and dies. One might say that he commits Mary Sue aside. Will that get us demonetized? I'm keeping it. That's a good joke. The Jedi arrive with Ashley, where they meet the resident Jedi of the temple and his Padawan. He had to preserve peace, justice, and body positivity in the galaxy. Ashley then goes in disguise to Asian Ezra Miller to trick him into giving up Mary-Kate, which of course he does right away. He also mentions Mary-Kate's master, which Squid Games inquires about, but Ezra doesn't respond, and so Squid Games, being the great Jedi master that he is, just never brings it up again. I'm sure it's not important anyway. So the, I guess, good guys spring a trap for Mary-Kate, and Master Squid Games has yet another Force-Foo fight with her, despite the fact that he has a lightsaber. You know, I'll give him one thing here. They actually made Master Squid Games pretty damn powerful, and he pretty much whoops her. But Mary-Kate escapes and has a moment where she sees Ashley for the first time and realizes that his sister is alive. Anyway, Mary-Kate and Asian Ezra Miller, who has apparently escaped easily from Jedi custody, meet back up, and he tells her that he's located Jedi Chewbacca, the last Jedi on a kill list. We then get a climactic ending to the episode that's sure to make people tune in next week. You see, Jedi Chewie force pulls a gun and then walks into his house. Da-na-na, 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 na-na-na, you get what I'm going for here. What a pair of turds. This is without a doubt the death blow to Star Wars. This show is so aggressively bad that it's dull at its very best and insulting at its worst. The best actor in this is a guy who reportedly learned English specifically for this show. Remember a week ago when George Lucas said this?
He said, "There's no women in the movies." I said, "Who do you think the heroes are in those films? What do you think Princess Leia was? She is the head of the rebellion. She's the one that's taking this young kid that doesn't know anything and this boisterous, I know everything guy who can't do anything, and trying to save the rebellion with these clowns. I said, she's the hero of the movie. And it's the same thing with Queen Amidala. Even though she has Jedi on her side, she was still the hero prime mover. And they said, well, but there's no women, you know. I said, you can't just put a woman in pants and expect her to be a hero. You know, they can wear dresses, they can wear whatever they want. It's their brains and their ability to think and do and plan and be logistical, and you know, that's what the hero is.
It's clear now that he knew what was coming from this show and needed to distance himself from it and remind us all, but his Padawan turned Kathleen Kennedy acolyte Dave Filoni is more than willing to shill for this nonsense, making it known that he's approved all story elements of the show, obliterating the last shred of credibility that he had with his fans. And if what I'm hearing from accounts like WDW Pro and Film Threat is true, then episode 3 and 4 are going to fundamentally change the foundations of Star Wars itself in a way that will be impossible to come back from. What we're seeing here is a show created by an agenda-driven hacktivist writer whose entire pitch was,
put a chick in it, make her gay!
It's wooden dialogue, terrible acting, unclear motivations, and member berries sprinkled in here and there for good measure to trick you into thinking that you're watching Star Wars.
Ooh, remember lightsabers? Ooh, I remember. Oh yeah, I remember lightsabers. That was fantastic. Ooh, remember the Jedi Temple? Ooh, remember the Sith? Ooh, remember red lightsabers? I remember.
You know, I used to hold out hope for Star Wars, but I think I've officially hit the point where I'm willing to just give up on it. Star Wars is a franchise built on the idea of always holding on to hope for a better future. But after what I've seen here today, I'm fresh out. That does it for this review. Thanks for stopping in. Comment below to tell me your thoughts on the Acolyte. What's your favorite Star Wars? Is it all the Star Wars? Do you like the Siths? Were you amazed at seeing for the very first time a character whose point of view is that the Jedi are evil? Let me know. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Click the little bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. Make sure to also subscribe to our wrestling channel and our weekly live streams, Toonie Talk Wrestling and Toonie Talk TV, where you can chat along with us. Also, check out our song parodies and live stream clips here on this channel. Look, if you enjoyed The Acolyte, I'm happy for you. It's always more fun to like something than to hate it. I'm just here to be honest with you about my subjective opinion. So, from all of us here at Toonitown TV, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!